Hello everyone, this is Crystal Potthoff and back for another Pysanky pattern inspired by quilts. And this is from Quilt Maker, May-June 2022. So last week I did this one where this was the pattern that I was doing, this here. But then on the top and the bottom I incorporated the pattern from an earlier egg. And I thought, I kind of like that concept of doing a couple different patterns, quilt patterns, on one egg. So I have this one, and I've been looking through it, and I like this. I think it looks kind of cool, I think. And what I'm seeing with these quilt patterns is, in some cases, they're kind of like this little optical illusion kind of thing. It's really, to me, it's kind of cool. Anyway, I like this, and so I'm thinking I'm going to do this as a border, and then I'm going to do something like this in like the center band of it. So I'll have this will be kind of in the center part, and then this will be a band. It'll be obviously wider than that band. It'll be a band up there. And I'll be doing it on a chicken egg. Okay, I got to rethink about that. But I will be doing it on a chicken egg first. So last week when I drew out this one and then I colored it in, I thought, that was helpful to me. So I kind of did it again. I am not going to do these colors, but it gave me an idea. So this is what the band would look like, and then this is what the body part would look like. So I'm really excited about getting started on this. I do not think I need to grid out the entire egg. I am going to need to grid out somewhat this border part, but this part I think I'm going to be okay on it. Anyway, so I'm going to get started. We're going to do this on a chicken egg. Depending on how that goes, may turn around and do it also on a goose egg. But we're going to start with the chicken egg first. Whenever I'm testing patterns, doing something brand new that I think I might want to do on a bigger egg, I always start on a smaller egg just to see if it's going to work. Anyway, so let's get started. So I have the pattern drawn on the egg, but before we look at that, what I'm going to start with, so I'm doing this on the border, and then I'm doing this in like the center of it. And I really like that these patterns that I see, they kind of stick with different shades of the same type color. So you have some pink and purples here, some blues and greens. That's kind of reds and blues. But so I actually have kind of the color plan figured out in my head now, which is hasn't been happening lately, but I do have that now. So I have drawn the design or pattern on the egg. I have already waxed the part here that's going to be, I'm going to call it that pinwheel type looking element. And I put a double line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to wax a pinwheel area, how I do that, and then I'm going to wax these areas. And these, I drew them out, but I have to rethink them. My lines that are going this way will stay, but the lines this way, I may have to adjust a little bit, because when I drew the pattern out, I wasn't remembering that I wanted to do a double line here. I am still dealing with a little bit of how it's narrower here at the top than the bottom. And it took me, again, this one took me a couple tries to get it divided out. I ended up going with 6s so that I had a square here and I had enough space for the 3 rows here. When I did, I initially divided it into 4 sections, and the pinwheel was nice and big, but I didn't have enough room for this at the top because this was wider. So then I tried 8, and then this was so small I could hardly get the pinwheel in there, so 6 seemed to work. So I've just waxed the horizontal lines, and now I don't normally do this, but I am on this egg. I'm using my Lubas Electric with the extra fine Kiska because I want to make sure I have plenty of room for the colors. So we're going to wax one of the pinwheels. So I'm going to start with waxing make the square. So it's going to go like that. And then like that. And I realize you probably cannot see these lines. Now I am going to divide this square in half. I'm going to divide it in half this way and this way. And now I'm going to make a diamond in the center of it using all these points that I've already drawn. And now I'm going to make a big X in the middle of it. And now that I'm looking at it, I guess I could have made X's in the middle in each one of the 4. I guess it would have been another way to do it. But this is how I see the pattern, so that's how I'm waxing it. Okay, so we have that. I have one more set of lines, and they go inside the diamond. Like that. Okay, there we go. So we have one of them done. I have 5 more to do. So what I just did was, I just did this part. So now I'm going to do the rest of them, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to work on waxing the lines for this border. So I have all of this waxed around there. I have to say, you know, it looks a bit like an optical illusion when it's all just the wax and the white egg. It doesn't really, for me, come together until I start putting the colors in it. I'm like 99% sure I drew it right. I'll double check it before I dye it. Anyway, so now I'm working on the area that will be this area, this border area that in the quilt pattern looked like that. And I will tell you right off the bat that drawing nice parallel horizontal lines is not my talent. I used the lathe to draw these initially. So what I am doing is I've already penciled in lines here. And all I'm going to do with this part is I am only going to draw these 3 sets of squares. Kind of squares, you know, because of the curved surface. I'm not going to put in any of the dividing lines like you see. Let me show you in the pattern again how it has like these half circles. There's a square that's solid, and then there's half circles, and some are a dark color and some are a light color. I am not going to draw those half circle lines. I'm only going to do that with the with waxing when it's the actual color, because I'm concerned that I will not have enough room for the color if I wax all those lines. So I have drawn these. I've drawn my lines going up as far as I know for the first two. So I'm going to draw now the horizontal lines, and then I will see how much space I need. So initially I drew all these lines with the blue pencil, and because I did this double line here, it kind of raised everything up. So I redrew this horizontal line with just a regular pencil. So now I'm just waxing that line all the way around. And the reason I didn't draw these lines all the way up was I wasn't exactly sure how far up I needed them. And if I drew them too far, then I had an extra line there that I didn't want. So it's easier for me to extend them than to have drawn them too far. So when I'm drawing lines like this, I really try to make sure the egg is on the table, my wrists are on the table, nobody's walking through my Pysanky room shaking the floor, and really going slowly and watching what I'm doing, especially because I'm using this extra fine Kiska. I want to make sure I am getting good wax coverage on it because it is a very thin line. Okay, so now we have those two, and now I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw the other horizontal line, and then I'll draw these lines up to it. So let's do that. And while I wanted these all to be, you know, this nice perfect square, the reality is it's not going to be because of dealing on this oval surface. So I am embracing that they are square-ish, and it will be, it's going to be beautiful. I just know it is. Okay, so I've drawn the top line. Now I'm going to draw each one of these lines up to it. I'm actually going to start at the other horizontal line. Give myself a little running room. You can see that one went all the way up. I got lucky there. I didn't go too far with it. This is the problem when you have to extend a line, that you want to be careful that you're drawing exactly over the previous line, and it might be a little thicker. Okay, we got those all done. And I am going to put, because I did a double line here, I'm going to do another line up here. And then I will just need to do this same thing. Oh, look at that. I was talking, not paying attention. I made a little slip with the line. I can fix that. I'll scrape it off. I have an X-Acto knife that I scrape off those little things with. But I'll do the same thing on the bottom. And then I will be dyeing the egg in the first color. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Just have to wait and see. I'll come back and it'll be dyed in the first color. Okay, so just have to do that same thing on the bottom and then ready for dye. I have decided to go with shades of pink for this pattern. So this is the very light pink. This is a dye that I made using a tablespoon of the prepared pink dye from Ukrainian gift shop, a tablespoon of vinegar, and a cup of water. So I get this lighter shade of pink, very similar to the other color I do like that called the very light blue. So with that, I am going to do, whoops, there we go. So on here, in the band or border, I'm not sure what you call it, top and bottom part, we'll call it that. So where you see the very light blue, that'll be the very light pink. And then in here, I will be doing, like where you see the white here, I will be doing the very light pink. And I can tell already, this is going to take some concentration to make sure I put it in the right spot on all of them. So this is really just a matter of filling in each square. What I will likely do is I will start with the pinwheel, and then I will come back and do this part. So since this is just filling in, I'm going to do that off camera because I'm afraid if I try to do that and talk, I will mess it up. So no guarantees I still won't get wax where I don't intend, but I'm going to try to do it with complete concentration, and I'll come back and show you whether or not I was successful. So I have the center part, the center band. I have that all waxed. I did each one of these individually, and I always started in the same spot, and I counted as I filled in the areas to make sure there was 8 in each one. And it looks like I got them all done. Good. Okay. Now I am working on this area, and I'm just going to show you how I decided to do it, because I didn't like draw white lines for where these half circles are. I'm just doing it with the 2 colors, so there's no dividing line. And the other color here is going to be a very dark color, so it should be fine. I should get a good contrast. So how I am doing this, it's a bit of like negative space painting. So where the light blue is here, and in here, which is this, on here it's the center part, I'm just doing a little bitty half circle, and I'm starting small because I can always make it bigger if I didn't make it big enough. I do that, and then I turn it over, and then I do the one here. I try to make them about the same width, and then I want to leave a space in there, in between there, in between the 2. So that one's fairly easy to do. The other one where the light blue is on the outside of it, how I've been doing that is I'm drawing like the outline of the half circle. And then I'm turning it over and I'm doing the other one, and I'm letting them touch up at the top. And then I come back and I fill in this area on the side, and then I look to make sure that they look, you know, kind of half circle-ish. Again, I'm dealing with, it's not really exactly square, but it's working, and it looks a little, to me it looks a little odd now because everything's just all this same color plus the wax, but I know I just have to trust. That's what I've had to do on the other quilt patterns. I just have to trust that it's going to turn out okay, even though it looks a little odd to me right now. So I will go around and do that here, and then I'll also do it here. And then I will be putting it in my next color. We're back, and this color is the Ukrainian Gift Shop Raspberry color, and this is over the top of the light pink. I studied the patterns, the quilt patterns, and I knew that one of the areas I wanted to be this color is going to be, oops, okay, shouldn't have done that. All right, so the little squares in here where there's nothing, that's solid, that's going to be the raspberry color. So what I will do is I will go around. This is my fine tip, only because I want to make sure that I don't slop over into the other squares. So I'll just completely cover that with wax, just like that, on all of these. And I will do that on the top and the bottom. And then I looked at the other patterns to kind of figure out where would I want this raspberry color, because where the wax is now is the light pink. The other area in here is going to be purple. And I'm bringing over my diagram. Yes, that's right. It will be purple. So what I am going to do is I'm going to have the raspberry be opposite where the purple is. So that means it will go here. In this one, there'll be 4 of them in each one of these squares. So it will go here. I know that's a little hard to see because there was some blue wax still in here. So there, 1, this one, 2, this one, 3, and this one, 4. Okay, now I'll go back and fix those and make them. So that's what I'm going to wax now, and then I will dye it in the next color. And now we have a purple egg, and I love this purple. It's gorgeous. This is the Ukrainian Gift Shop purple over the top of raspberry, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color. Okay, so I'm going to do this waxing just a little bit different. In this area here and in this area here, what's not covered with wax needs to be the purple. So I am actually going to use my manual Kiska that I don't have handy, but, oh, here it is. I knew it was here. I'm going to use this one, candle heated, because I don't really need to be careful about lines. I need to actually make sure I have very good coverage over this area and this area. So I'll be using that. And then in here, what needs to be covered, and I'm going to use some white wax. I don't know how well it will show up, but I'll show it to you anyway. So this is going to be, let's see, this area. Okay, yeah, so this area, this area, kind of, if you see this diamond outline, then everything inside of that needs to be this color. I guess I could do that with the manual one too. I was thinking there was more delicate work, but there is not. So let's switch over to that one. All right, I am going to demonstrate how I'm going to put the wax on using the candle heated Kiska. So the candle's kind of off here to the side, so it's not directly under the camera, but I heat it up, and you don't want it smoking, then it's too hot. This is beeswax dyed black. I have some natural beeswax, but it is not handy, so very important. Definitely wipe this off because wax was on the outside of it. And now I just start applying it to the egg, just as I would if I were using the electric one. It does, you know, comes out a little faster, I think. And then once I get all of this done, I will then look at it under the magnifier to make sure I have good wax coverage. All right, so I keep doing that all the way around. Now, in this area, what I need to do is, if you can kind of see the diamond shape in the middle, these are all going to be purple. And this is, I'm sorry, this is the Ukrainian gift shop purple over the raspberry. And I will do the same thing with this. Actually, when I get all the wax on it, I will then look at it under the magnifier and make sure that I have good wax coverage. So I'll just keep going around the egg like that. And then we'll come back with what I think is going to be the final color. So here is the current status of this egg. I originally put it in the Borealis green, which is a Ukrainian accessories color. And it was a pretty color. But, and I realize these all have wax on them. It didn't feel right to me. That color felt like it was too bright as compared to some of these other colors, because particularly this raspberry color is more of an earth tone color. So I instead then dyed the egg in the Ukrainian gift shop dark green. So that's what this color is. So now I am ready to take the wax off of it. And since I was doing this one, I also did the same pattern on a brown egg. I had someone give me a lot of brown eggs. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try the pattern on a brown egg. So what I did this part differently, where in the other one it has like little half circles. This one I thought, you know what, when I was doing it, I was intending to do the same exact pattern, but then as I was looking at it, I thought, you know, it just seemed to be calling to me to do this checkerboard. And so I did, and then I didn't even realize that it was turning out like that. So that was kind of a happy accident there. I'm glad that worked out. Anyway, so this too, I need to take the wax off and show you what that one looks like. And then after I do that, then I'm going to do this on a goose egg, just because now that I kind of have the pattern down, I want to do it one more time, and then we'll move on to something else. And now for the reveal. I love it, and I'm glad I went with the darker green. I think it works very well with this. Oh, yeah, I do like it. I don't know if you can tell, but in the band here is the brighter green that I initially did. So I put it in the band, but I do think that the darker green looks better with the overall design. So, oh yeah, love that. Now here's my etched one. I like it, the brown one. I did not get the contrast. This color was actually dark red, and this one was, oh no, I take that back. This is dark red, that's brown. This is dark red, that's brown. Now that I look at it, I guess there is some contrast. There's just not as much as I thought there was going to be. But I do love it. It was fun. And now we're going to work on a goose egg. So there's the two that I did. The border was based on this, which was done by True Blue, is the name of it. And looks like Patricia St. Ange was the one that did that. And then the other part was by Bonnie Hunter, Addicted to Scraps. So that's what we ended up with. And this was in the Quilt Maker May-June 2022 issue. So there we have it. Okay. Whoops. You're not going to stay put. There we go. Stay. All right. Beautiful. Now I'm excited to move on to the goose egg and see how that one turns out.